Hi everyone. In this demo, I'm going to show you the Field Legal server application and how it works. First thing you need to do is go to the internet and go to www.fieldlegal.com. This is the website. Here you will see the login page. You select that and it takes you to the login where you put your username and your password once you have received it. Then you sign in and it takes you to the Field Legal server application. The server application is what you use to set up the system. We also have the tablet application, which there's another demo for, which shows you how to use the application on a tablet out on the field. This is the main dashboard for Field Legal. It gives you shortcuts to things that you can do really quickly. There's the navigation system here. And here you have a view of some of the things that have been done in the system. So current inspector activities, assign new inspections, and it gives you a status of where the new inspections are at, and you can also view them. And it also provides you a list of completed inspections so that they can also be viewed. The first thing to do before you can create a form is you have to set up the system. So under user management, this is where you would set up your permission roles, your users and inspectors. To set up a permission role, very simple. You simply select permission role, add a new permission role, and you would go through and fill out the form. So you select the permission role that you want to call it, label, if you want to put a description. And here you have access to all the different areas of the system, and you can select what this particular permission role is going to be able to do. You go through each functionality and you say whether you want this permission role to view, add, edit, or delete. Once you're done, you hit save. And you can create as many permission roles as you need. Then the next step is to create users. Users are the individuals that are going to be using the server application only. They are not inspectors and they are not going to be collecting data out in the field. To set up a user, again, very simple. You go to add a new user and you fill out their information, and you can set the permission role for them here. And you can also, you have an option here to put whether they're active or not active. If someone leaves the company, you can deactivate them. Then the next step is to create your inspectors. So your inspectors are the people that are going to be using the tablet application out on the field. To set up an inspector, you go to add new inspector. And you fill out all of the information for the particular inspector. One of the things in the inspector that's different than users is you can allow the inspector to change his or her password. You can also activate or deactivate them. And you can also, here, you can actually change their password. This is so that the administrators have control of the people out on the field using tablets and signing in. If tablets are being shared and everyone is signing in with the same password, you want control over that. And you don't want people, you may not want people changing their password, so you can control that here. And that's the user management. Next step is data management. The point of Field Legal is to provide all of the documentation that they need out on the field without having paper and pen. And so when we are creating the template, we can attach documents to particular questions, items, etc. In order to do that, we have to go to document management. And first, we have to upload all of the documents into the Field Legal system that you're going to want to make available. These can be blueprints, instructions, policies, anything that you may want, and you can upload them. To upload a document is very simple. You go to add new document. You choose the document from your library. You add a description and you can add a tag and you save it. Once you save it, it'll add it to this list here, and you will be able to choose these documents later when creating templates. Then the next step is categories. We have here question categories. So in the Field Legal system, when we're creating templates, you're creating questions, but we're also going to be adding the criteria for the answer for the question. And that is done in add question category. We have 5 generic question categories that are already created in the system for you, which is generic text box, generic number, generic drop down, generic radio button, or generic checkbox. You can also create custom question categories as you need. I'm going to give you an example of how to create a question category. So if I go to edit, here you can see you name what your question category is going to be. You can give it a description, and then you choose the answer logic. So is it going to be a text box, number, drop down, radio button, or checkbox? In this case, it's checkbox is highlighted. Here we have a configure pass fail scenario that we can add to the question, to the answer, sorry. And here is where you go in and you add all of your checkboxes. So in this case, we have 3 checkboxes that have been created. 2 are pass, 1 are fail. You can also put a weight of how negligible or the catastrophic levels for this by pushing it up and down. You can delete things if you've made a mistake. You can move things up and down, and you can add as many checkboxes as you need. Once these checkboxes are created and this question category is added to a question, they will be able to answer it based on what has been set up for this question. You can also make it mandatory that if the user out in the field selects a fail, you can make it mandatory for them to, for the inspector to take notes and also pictures. This means that if they pick something out in the field that's a fail, they will have to take a picture and a note. If they do not, they will not be able to sign and submit that inspection. The next step is item category, and this is the way we sort of organize the system. So you can create categories for each of your inspections, whether you're doing a mechanical, a maintenance, housekeeping, health and safety, there's forklift inspections. So you set up here all of your categories that you're going to be using for the inspections or the data collection that you're going to be doing out on the field. And this really helps when we're doing the reporting as well. Next up is regulatory bodies and standards. You can create regulatory bodies and standards so that inspections can be inspected to particular regulatory bodies and standards. So if to add a category, regulatory body, you're just going to add new regulatory body. And here you would set up the title, the acronym, the description, and then you add the standard that belongs to this regulatory body. So in this case here, I have a couple of standards that belong to this particular regulatory body, which is the IHSA certification recognition. And you can see there's also documents attached. To add a new standard, you just go into add new standard, you add the title, the year, section, coding, reference, and you can also upload the document for that particular standard. Once you've done that, it adds it to this list here, and you can see you can actually access the documents that have been attached. Then the next step is to set up your clients. So if you're doing business for particular clients, if it's not an internal project, you can set up all of your clients here. Setting up a new client is very easy. You just add new client, and you enter all of their information, and you can also add contacts to each client. This keeps all of your clients and their contacts organized. Then the next step is locations. You can set up locations for all of the different areas where you might be doing your data collection. Adding a new location is simple. You just add new location. And here you set up all of the information, and you can assign a location to a client. So you can have a client that has multiple locations. Once you've created your clients, they will become available in this drop down, and you just select which client you want for this particular location. Then the next step is to create the actual inspection template. Inspection template is under data management. Here we select templates, and it gives you an existing list of all of the templates that have already been created, or you can go and add a new template. I'm going to select a template that's already been created. You would name your template. You can select a category, a type, and you can also put a description and then edit item hierarchy. This is the Field Eagle template builder. It is consistent of a hierarchy of items. We call it parent items and child items and sub-child items. And essentially you have to create all of these items and then put questions and information under each item. To create a new item, you simply select add new item, parent item. And here you can put, you can add any description that you can, it's white label, so you can name it anything you want. You can select a category. So is it health and safety or anything that you have already set up? And you can also add a tag for searching purposes. You can upload a document and you can also upload a picture. Once you've created your parent item, you can also create child items. So if I select this item here, you can see that it has all of these child items underneath this particular parent item. If I go into a child item, you can see here, there's a picture that's been uploaded. If I go to questions, this is where you would add all of the questions for each item. Adding a question is very easy. You can see here a list of questions that have already been added, but I can go and add a new question. When you add a new question, you put in what you want the question to be. You can put a weight of how important this question is. It's from 1 to 100, and this is based on your own client, on your own criteria. Then if you have a governed body, you would select it from the drop down here, and then also the related standard. The question category, so how are they going to answer this question? You set it up here. So I'm going to go to a generic drop down. And then you can also add instructions. If you wanted to. You can also attach particular documents to this particular question if you need to. Once that's done, you simply save the question. Once the question is saved, you can see I have lots of questions here. You can view all of your questions. Here's my question. It's a generic drop-down. I can edit or I can delete it if I want. Once you've created your questions, all you need to do is continue building your template by adding items. If you have a particular item that is going to be, you need to duplicate it because you need it again out in the field, there's a very simple way to do that. You can just highlight the parent item or the child item that you want to duplicate, put here how many copies, it creates the copy, it numbers it for you. You can change these numbers and put a different name if you need to. And then press save, and it creates copies of those parent items for you. You can see that it's all the same. And if I go to questions, there's no questions there yet because I haven't added questions to this particular item yet. To add a child item, you simply select this icon here, add a child item, and it adds a child item to this parent item. I can also add a sub-child item to this child item by hitting this again. Now you can see that there's the parent, the child item, the sub-child item. If I want an additional sub-child item to this one, I simply highlight it, select sub-child item, and you can see as I'm adding them in, you can also close them and open them so you can see what's in there. And the unique thing about Field Eagle is that you can add as many child and sub-child items in this hierarchy as you want. The system keeps a number of how many items you're adding so that you don't go create a template that's too long, but you can add as many as you want. We recommend a template of about 800, but you can also add templates of about 3,000 items. There's no limit to how many you can build. So you go through your template, you build all of your items, you build all of your questions, and then you're able to add all of your questions, select the question category. And then once you're done, you save your template. And then the next step is it keeps the template in this list so you can access all of the different templates you've built. And templates can be safety templates. They can be any template that you want. It depends on how you build it. And once the template is built, then the next step is to assign the template to an inspector. Before we do that, we have to go into this icon that says assets. This is actually white label. I have chosen to call it assets, but this particular item can be called anything that you want. When we go into assets, you can see here, there's a list of all the assets that we have created. So here you would list all of your assets. This can be, if you're using maintenance, you can list all of the different equipment pieces that you have, or if you're doing particular ISO or iOS inspections, you can add all of them here. So you can keep a list of all the different assets that you are inspecting or the data that you are collecting. Once you create the asset, the system automatically gives you here this option to duplicate the asset, and then inspection type. Inspection type is what you need to do before you assign the inspection to an inspector. Because Field Legal is built with an audit backbone, we cannot assign a master template to be out in the field. Before we do that, we have to create a copy of the template. And the reason for that is so that if any additional items are added out in the field, if any changes are made to that template, it will be made to the copy of the template, not the actual master template. Master template can be changed and edited, but that's up to an administrator to decide. Once you've created your asset, it lists it, then you just select the inspection type for the asset that you want. So I'm going to create inspection type for asset management. And you can see here, I've already created a couple, but I'm going to create a new one. So you would name you can add a description. Then you select your template from the lists drop down. Once you've created all of your master templates, they will become available in this list. So I just select the template I want, and then I add and build inspection type. Once I add and build inspection type, it starts downloading the template, the original template, and it's now creating a copy of that template. So now you can see this looks like the template builder. And here is the template. I can view it. Here are all my questions. I will now be able to edit this template if I want. If I edit this template, it will not affect the master template that I have created. So this template is now a copy, and anything that I do to it will not affect the main one. Once I have gone through and edited this template, if I needed to, you don't have to edit it if it doesn't need any editing. All you need to do is save the inspection type. When you save the inspection type, it adds it to the list, and then you're done. The next step is now to assign the inspection to an inspector. So we go into inspections, and we're going to assign a new inspection. Here we would select a client if there was one, client contact, location if there was one assigned to this client, if you don't have a client, you just select no client. Then you select the asset that you want. And here you would select the inspection type. And it tells you the day and time that the inspection type was created. Then you select the inspector that you want to assign to this particular inspection. If the inspection happens to be a very large inspection and you want to split it, you would simply create multiple inspectors. And here you would assign different inspectors to different parts of the system. What happens when you select multiple inspector is the system brings up all the parent items in your template. All the parent items are now assigned to Eugene, and all the subchild items are also assigned to Eugene. It doesn't show on the list, but all the subchild items that belong to a parent item are automatically assigned to the particular person as well. Once you're done, you simply hit Assign Inspection, and that inspection is now been assigned to that particular person. They're going to get an email letting them know, and then they will be able to download it on the tablet and use the tablet application to perform the inspection. There is a demo of the tablet application in a separate video that you can watch. Once the inspection has been performed on the tablet, inspectors can sign and submit that inspection and upload it back to the server. That's when reports become available. We have here a list of all the different reports that can be generated in the system. One of the most popular ones is the final compliance report. And if I go into a final compliance report, it gives me a list of all the different reports that I have available based on what I've done. And I can choose also by dates and client and location and asset, and then I can generate the final compliance report. Reports can be exported to Excel, PDF, and Word. Here you can see there's a logo. This logo, when we set up the system for you, we will ask you for your logo, and all of your reports will have your logo on it. And then here you can go through it and you can view your final compliance report. You can see a status of everything that was done, the final compliance rating, criticalities, signatures, everything that was done out on the field is available directly on this report. We also have punch lists, which is available and part of the final compliance report, which only shows you the critical items that did not pass. And then we have an expanded punch list report, which shows you everything that was done out on the field, and it includes the pass and fails. And it has all of the information that was required out in the fields, including photos and notes if there were any. Then we also have other reports available, things like if you only want to look at your punch list report, your final custom report is a report that we build custom for clients who want one. If you have no need for our existing reports and you want something customizable, we can build a custom report for you. Then we have other reports that are available based on what's done on the tablet. And that's a high level view of the Field Eagle server application.